Welcome to Chapter Sass, the podcast where we deep dive into the books that make you blush, gasp, and maybe even think a little. I'm your host, Susanne, and with every book, I'll be joined with a new co-host with their own hot take. From spicy romances to messy love triangles and all the glorious chaos in between, we're here with a fresh perspective to unpack the stories we love, question what we think we know, and explore how the book speaks to us. Things might even get a little sassy. This episode is rated mature and will contain spoilers. Let's get into the first chapter. Welcome back, everybody. Today we'll be deep diving into Hollows, chapter 15 through 21 by Carolyn Peckham and Susanne Valenti. This is book 1 in the Crown of Hearts and Chaos series. Hello, Andria. How are you?
I'm doing good. Happy Monday or whatever day of the week it is.
No, it's okay. We're recording on a Monday. I don't know when we're... Well, no, we will drop this on a Monday, too, so it works out. So hello. It's okay. How was your weekend?
We're in Illinois where you get every season in one day. And so we got high winds, rain, snow, ice. I canceled school today. I spent a lot of
Oh,
my weekend reading, which is my favorite thing to do.
I can agree to that. I mean, we're in the same state, just different cities. But yes, got all four seasons in the weekend. Specifically, there's about like 4 inches of snow that I'm looking at, so it's like not even so like melted right away. It's like actually piled up. So
There.
lovely. What are you drinking today then?
So glad you asked. Oh my gosh, I hope I don't spell this. This is my apple cider. Can you see that? It says
Oh, I love it. It says book break. I love it. That is
my
such a
apple
cute
cider.
glass. You should take a picture with it next to the book, like
Oh,
the way
that's
I do, and be
very
like, "This is what I was
funny.
drinking while we did it."
Yes, I'll do that. Oh, that's such a good idea. All
Okay,
right.
so I sometimes like to have fun with my drinks when I'm on here. By no means am I a mixologist or anything. I just throw stuff together and hope it tastes well 80% of the time. So, and I've made a similar drink like this before, so I knew it would. Let me mix this up because if anyone knows, I do a lot of edible glitter in this house. So let me just get my edible glitter. So this was a rose ice like mold, but it melted and now it just looks like a blob. But you see the glitter and the blue. So we're gonna cover the dragon in these chapters, and the dragon's like a blue, teal, white type of creature. So I decided to do this. This is just butterfly tea, like, oh, what is it? Hold on, I have to Google it. It's blue. So I don't really like um blue like dye when it comes to like certain like candies. Like I can't
Yeah.
do like a blue dye or like a blue popsicle or anything. But this is butterfly pea tea, that's what it's called. And so it naturally is blue. And so I did this. I added some gin. It's African gin. I will post it. I absolutely love this gin. Gin is not very big in Africa right now, and I had a tasting. It was amazing. I bought like 4 bottles. It was so good. And it's very light. So if anyone wants to mimic this, just know it's very light. I put a little simple syrup because I don't really like sweet things, but it needed a little bit because it's tea essentially that we're drinking. But it's kind of like a gin and tonic, but it's a little bit lighter. But the gin that I use is flavored with floral, with rose. So it gave it a more floral, like we're in the
Oh, I love
forest
that.
type of thing. So cheers. Yeah.
Oh, cheers. Sorry. I hope I don't.
Yeah. Don't spill. Cheers.
I'll be much more creative next week. I'm inspired
Oh, you
now.
don't have, like I said, sometimes I just throw stuff together. And the amount of edible glitter in my household is a lot. There are a lot of theme parties and we like do fairs or whatever. Like, oh, there's some edible glitter in there. So this is just stuff I literally have lying in the house. It's like, oh, let's do this. But it is, if anyone, again, if you copy it, it is a very light drink. So be careful with how much gin you put in there because the tea is not like very, it's not like an actual, like when you do gin and tonic, but tonic water. It's a little less than that. So, all right. As a reminder, everyone, we will have spoilers. And I have read way more. I think I only have like maybe less than 10 chapters left. So I know so much of what has happened. So I will try to contain my spoilers, but I cannot promise. And it will contain mature content. So let's get into the next chapter. So before we get into it, let's just recap a little bit so we know where we are. So we're in the land of Rathian. There's a cursed forest. It grows and consumes like whatever is in its path. Every 50 years, the Fae and humans send in their champions to complete the tasks that are given in the Great Hunt poem. This will help the curse end. And then one champion will be given a boom or prize or wish or however we want to say that. The only way to end the curse is by uniting all the spirits at the great elm tree within 40 days. And the spirits that we have to catch are the raven, the rat, the wolf, the tiger, the stag, the unicorn, the phoenix, the bear, the boar, the serpent, the carp, the fox, and the dragon. So far, we only know of the fox and the bear being captured. Chapter 15. That's pretty much all I'm giving you. So hopefully you read the book, y'all. Or go listen to the rest of our episodes that are going to be airing. So, yes, that's all you get. Okay, so chapter 15 is also when Hendrix like just captured the fox too. So like, and the fox was supposed to be like Ferris's because it was actually coming to her, but Hendrix actually captures it. So Ferris has no choice but to follow Hendrix back to the castle. Ferris realizes that Hendrix likes to bicker and like get under her skin. So when they get to the castle, she decides to just go to the kitchen, ignore him, get some food, and just like not play into his games. We also can confirm that like Hendrix is 600 years old. So, you know, we love us a large age gap love story.
We we love a red flag that's waving so freely.
So freely. So, you know, big age gap. As Ferris closes the door to the kitchen, she puts a like broom under it. So she like locks it so you can't just like open it very easily from the other side. And she does this so Hendrix like can't get in. And obviously Hendrix like follows her into the kitchen. Once he realizes that like it's locked, he starts like bang into it. But Ferris really quickly like grabs food and there's multiple doors. They're in a castle. So she like heads into what would have been like the servants' quarter. And she just like goes up and opens random doors until she comes across the conservatory. And it's alive and thriving. So this is like very nice and important. So, but it feels like she's outside because remember, she can't be outside after dark. But like the conservatory is like made of glass, it's clear. So it's as if she is outside, but she's safe within the walls because, you know, she's inside. So she stumbles upon like a sofa and blanket and she like settles in to eat and she finds a journal as she like sits in the seat. Ferris opens her journal and starts to read it, but she says she notices there's something familiar about the writing of the journal. So I have read, so I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to tell you what I thought when I did read this. And I thought it was Rissa. So I was like, oh my God, is it Rissa? Did she find Rissa's journal? Like, this has to be important. I'm going to remember this later. So then we get to a journal entry, and I'm just going to summarize it because it was kind of long, but like just the most important parts. So it's day 37. So there's only 3 more days until like the end of the hunt is over. That this champion is alone and has captured the unicorn and the rats. The lost children are also hunting the author of this journal. But the author of this journal says, I don't think they wish to harm me, but they want to lead me somewhere. I'm uncertain of how many more times I'll be able to resist their call. The author is a champion who participated in the eighth Great Hunt. The author has documented everything that has taken place and has experienced and has created the map to where they believe the spirits to be. So the map in the beginning of the book is the real map, or is the map of what this author claims to
Okay.
be. We have confirmed that like the raven, the bear, and the fox were where like it should have been in relation to the map. The author now believes that they should have stayed with the other champions because how would anyone know when all the spirits are captured? And remember, that's part of the rule, or like you have to put put them all together. So the author's like, I don't know if the they have the unicorn. I don't know if like the stag has been captured. I just have to hope it's day 37. So we're like out of time essentially. So the author also states that they don't care about the boon anymore. They just want the curse to end and they're willing to essentially make sure that any champion like they would give up they make it sound like they would give up their spirits to help any champion complete the task. And I think this is very important foreshadowing because remember there's the no blood rule. And we do know that all of the spirits have to be united. So at some point, the champions will have to come together and only allow one person to pick the boom. And the poem is very specific on uniting. So this is where I was kind of thinking, what does this mean? Like if the other spirits like don't want to unite, and what I mean by that is, as the way Hendrix captured the spirits was essentially by killing or hurting them, and they had to retreat into the amulet, and that's how he was able to get the amulet with the bear and uh the
The
fox.
fun.
But we
Yeah.
know that Ferris, had she captured them, would have been differently. Like she was never gonna hurt them. She was letting them come to her. So is there a difference now? Like when we say unite, like do the spirits have to willingly go or not? Like, you know what I mean? So like let's say Hendrix does have more, but none of his willingly went. Does Is that like a loophole into the rule? So just, things to think about. We also find out that Ferris is completing in the 13th annual hunt or great hunt. So that means that it's been 250 years since this journal has been created. The entry says that there is a spirit that they know they will not be able to capture and will need the other champions. And on the map, Ferris notices the dragon. So I'm guessing the dragon might be the hardest spirit to capture. I don't know if it is, but we do talk about the dragon. This dragon does seem like it is hard to capture. So I'm gonna go with that. But so then to me, that means it's a good thing that Hendrix and Ferris are together. That's the most important things pretty much of this journal. Hendrik then appears. He's finally found Ferris. He takes the journal and like dismisses it. He's like, "This champion failed. They're dead. I'm not going to believe the information that's in here," and just gives it back to Ferris. End of chapter. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was kind of flabbergasted at the fact that he was like, "Oh, this doesn't exist." But then at the same rate, it was like, okay, he's been in this situation, forest, the hunt, this castle for how long? And he hasn't come across this journal. I think he planted it for her to find to see what
Oh.
she really knew about
Mm.
its like what the relation was to the journal, to the castle, to the hunt. I think he kind of baited her. But again, I haven't read that far. I'm only on chapter
Oh.
like I finished
No,
up to
I will.
too far. So I don't know, for sure. But yeah, I was like, that's strange that
Mm.
he's not taking interest in this. And she should have been suspicious of that too. Like, you I just found something super valuable and they've been through it before, but
Mhm.
also hasn't Hendrix been through the hunt before
Mm-mm.
too? No, this is his
This is
first time.
Hendrickson's first time. He
Okay.
has been alive during all the hunts because he's over 650, but he hasn't physically participated in one until now.
Okay.
So yeah, but he knows of it, and I'm sure all the Fae that went in, like he probably knew them all and whatnot. Chapter 16. So this is a Hendrix chapter. So it's now morning. Hendrix is eating, and he's like, "Oh, I'm eating alone. Let me go find Ferris." And she's not in her room, but she's in the conservatory. So he now is like, this is her new favorite place to be in the castle is the conservatory. And we find out a little bit more of Hendrix's past. So he believes, I'm gonna say this name probably wrong. Iases, I think Bellthorn. I'm pretty sure it's Iases, yeah. Iases Bellthorn could be partaking in the hunt. And Ilases is a fae who has built the army in the name of King Othron. I can't talk today, guys. And you would think I had so much more gen than what I just had. Over the course of the 600 years. So Ilases and Hendrix do not like each other. And in the words of Taylor Swift, they're going to have some very bad blood. And we do learn why later on. So it's a good reason. It's a good reason. We learned that Hendrix killed King Arthron, and Ilasis pretty much has exiled Hendrix from their land. So, and we learned this very early on. He has the tattoo, the outcaster tattoo. So he's not. We don't know where he's living right now, but he's not living in Ravenspear with like the rest of the Fae. So interesting, stuff to learn. And remember, this is the same king that was crowned much longer than he was supposed to be. like the king's reign should have ended years before it did. So I'm gonna say it again. What happened in Hendrik's past? Is there a reason that he killed this king? We also learned that Hendrix knows something that that he believes the other champions do not know, including Ferris. So before you make it to the Great Elm, you have to pass through the labyrinth, but the labyrinth is locked, and he has the key. And he got this information from a hag. That remember, these hags are like fortune tellers or whatnot in their lands. And so he's not going to tell anyone about this, and he's pretty sure no other champion knows this information. Hendrik notices that Ferris is looking at like where the dragon is on the map, and so he decides to see, well, let's see if how true this information is. And so he says they're going to head towards the location of the dragon. And Hendrik doesn't give Ferris much choice, so she grabs her backpack and she goes with him. And Hendrix is like purposely like going fast. Like remember, he's Fae and he's much stronger than Ferris is. So he's like going up this hill and doing, you know, all these things. And he's very impressed that Ferris is actually keeping up with him because she's a human. And he uses that word a lot, like for a human, she's doing amazing here. At the entrance of the cave, Ferris notices some hollows, and Hendrik is supposed to have noticed them first because he's Fae, so like he should be able to hear, do whatever. But I've been saying this before, I'm gonna say it again. This just kind of goes with my theory that Hendrik is part hollow because he in this part he was very much like I should have noticed them first. I should have done this. Like he said this in his head and not like out loud. So I'm going with my theory that he's part hollow. Hendrik asks Ferris, like, has she ever come across hollows before? And she says yes. And then she asks Hendrix, has he? And he thinks, oh, Ferris, if you only knew what I've been through, the twist of fate this world has handed me, spirits be, how you would tremble in the presence if you knew my truth. So again, this just goes more to my theory that he is half hollow, half, I guess, Fae. Something happened, and I think he needs the boon to like fix whatever this happened to him. Like this is one of the reasons why he's so big on the boon. Ferris uses her slingshot to like hit a bee's nest, and that like distracts the hollow and it clears the cave. When they enter the cave, Hendrix tells Ferris that you're a pretty thing, but if you only knew the monster I could be. So again, he just keeps giving us all these like monster terms. So again, is he part hollow? Hendrik and Ferris, like from here on out, they do all this bickering stuff. So they are both bickering. They are both getting turned on. Hendrix is like grabbing Ferris, and she's not like really pushing him away fast enough. There's a lot of close proximity, and Hendrix is like thinking of seducing her, but is like, I'll be damned if I ever let a human do that. End of chapter. What are your thoughts?
So it's so crazy. Even I felt like this in the last few chapters, but I was like, I need to, I guess, witness it with other spirits. Hendrix is very comfortable with locating and recognizing the spirits
Oh,
before they come up. Like
mm-hmm,
the way he talks about the serpent, he was talking about as like, remember, he was like, she's a slippery thing, as if like it was almost second nature to him. It was like akin to him to be able to talk about the serpent as if he's had some previous, like, sort of relation or run in or whatever. The same with the fox, the same with all of them. And we know Ferris has spent a lot of time understanding the spirits because of the book that she kind of has studied. It's so crazy. He was like, the cave awaits because he knows what's coming.
mm-hmm.
Why does he know what's coming? If this is his first hunt, right?
Oh,
Why
I
is he
love this.
so in tune with each of the spirits? Like, if this is my first hunt and you tell me I'm supposed to be looking out for a bear or I'm supposed to be looking out for like, I'm not going to know the specific
Mm-hmm,
features and size and things to look for unless that's just how they grew up, just understanding like nature and the creatures and things like that. But like, this
mm-hmm.
I feel like he's very comfortable with going after the spirits and knowing exactly what he's looking for. and talking about them, like, in close relation. I'm keeping an eye on that.
Oh, no, keep it. I don't know if I have an answer to that, and like I said, I'm pretty far.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, like I said, I don't know if I have an answer to that yet. I do have an answer for a lot of other things, but I don't know if I have an answer to that yet. So, yeah, keep that theory, honestly. Keep it, because 'cause you're right, if this is his first hunt,
And
in
he like,
theory, none
at
of the
first I
Fae
was
or
like,
humans
talking
would
about
know. So,
yeah, he's
yeah.
talking about the serpent, like, real like, she's scary, like,
Mhm.
yes, those are a typical snake, like, you know what I'm saying? But,
Yeah,
like, he's never hunted the snake before, he's never hunted the
yeah,
fox before, he's never had to go after any of the other spirits.
yeah. Oh,
But
I'm
to your
loving this.
if he's part hollow or whatever, and then he's like, a piece of his soul or whatever is in tune with them, and so, like, the forest is guiding Ferris, maybe the hollows are guiding him.
Oh,
This is all speculation at this point,
I
so
know, and this is why I love doing this because I like, again, I'm further and I'm like, "Oh, I don't know if I know that yet either." So,
well,
oh,
it could all
I
just
love
be
it.
nonsense.
It could also be nothing. The amount of times I've been wrong with fantas or theories is hilarious, and sometimes I'm right and sometimes I'm wrong, but that's the whole
Love
point. That's the
love the
fun of it.
spiral.
Yeah, that's the fun of it. Okay, chapter 17, it's a Ferris chapter. So Ferris was just thinking that she needs to get to the dragon first, especially because she lost the bear and the fox, but she doesn't really know how, but she knows she can't hesitate the way she did with the other two. But like she's like, Hendrix is behind me. Like, how am I gonna get this before he gets it? And then we learned some information, some characteristics of the dragon. The dragon is the most terrifying spirit of them all. The dragon is ancient. The dragon's task has been to protect the forest from all ill and herd the trees back together if they ever wandered at will. It was strong and fierce, wild and wary, and it would rain down terror upon anything that it saw as a threat. So the dragon power is pretty much like thunderstorms with lightning. So think of like electricity, but like through thunderstorms. But interesting because the dragon's task is to keep the forest from wandering and doing whatever. And it's like that is literally what the forest is doing. So interesting. It's mentioned again that Ferris has dark hair. They know that the dragon is once they're walking through, they know that the dragon is very close because they can feel like it's magic. And they're like, it is like this magic in here, like it's like electricity, like they can feel it all. Ferris finds a feather and then she's like, "What is this?" She's like, "Oh, I think it's part of the dragon." And then out of nowhere, Hendrik grabs Ferris, climbs up something, ties Ferris up, and once they like reach the top, Ferris realizes that they're in a big ass nest, and Hendrix just tied her up to essentially be bait in the middle of it. He tells Ferris to scream. She says, "No, I'm not." Hendrix grabs his dagger and cuts Ferris's arm. So, of course, she does scream. He's like, "Do it again." She's like, "No." So then he like puts his finger in the cut and hurts it. So she has to scream again, and then he goes to hide. And ladies and gentlemen, this is again what they were talking about in the beginning of the book as a warning. These are all red flags. If you are feeling this in your real life, please seek help and please get out of the situation because this man is not safe. But in the Fae world, we are going to allow it.
We'll allow it. It's a beige
In the
flag.
Fae, we will allow this in the Fae world. The dragon hears her screams and, like, comes rushing towards Ferris. The dragon is, like, luminescent with a serpentine body with a mixture of white and silver with trails of, like, teal-colored electricity among it, so that is my drink. I'll call this the dragon. It's just, like, coming towards her. And right before the dragon attacks Ferris, Hendrix, like, attacks the dragon. And the dragon is not easy to capture. It, like they're fighting back and forth, but at the end, the dragon slashes Hendrix like across his chest, and Hendrix is out for the count. Like he like falls over, he's bleeding. During all of this, Ferris was unable to like untie her hands, and she like jumps on the dragon, and she can feel like when she jumps on the dragon, like she becomes like one with the dragon, and she can feel like it's lost and it's ache, and she like the emptiness that it feels, and she like sheds a tear. But when she sheds the tear, it like falls on the scale and the scale like changes color. So like between Ferris's tear eye, like something is special about these two people because she is now changing the color of this dragon. The dragon blasts into the sky and it flies so high that Ferris can like see everything. She can see her town. She can see the blight. She can see all of what the forest has consumed. She can see like the division, the walls between the different the realms, and she can pretty much see how far the forest has spread. And she's like, "Holy shit! There, it's almost at the water. My town people, like, we need to solve this now. They're not going to survive." She again, she sees the blight, and she knows that's where Bane, Crown Thief is, and his hollows. So again, this makes me go to think I definitely think that Hendrix is half hollow. And then Ferris sees the great owl. The dragon like heads back to the nest, and the dragon and Ferris have like an understanding. And the dragon puts its head next to Ferris, and Ferris touches it, and the dragon, and she hears the dragon in her head, and it says, "Don't fail me." Just like the bear said, lost, like she can like communicate with the spirits. The dragon willingly turns to smoke and drops the amulet in by Ferris's feet and goes into like the amulet. So I think this is important too. I said this a little bit earlier, but I think this is more proof on when it says to reunite the spirits, and the majority of them will have the boon because technically right now Hendrik has more, but the spirits didn't willingly, you know what I mean? Like for me, for you to unite something sounds like they have to willingly come, right? And like so far those two didn't willingly come. So far the only one that we know that's willingly going is the dragon. And it sounds like it's the most powerful and the badass one. So if she needs to catch one, that was the one to catch. However, not only did the dragon give herself or himself, the dragon also marked Ferris. And so now her hair is white with like teal. So now it looks like the cover. Your cover is different than my cover because I have the
Yeah.
ebook, but you have the dragon on yours. But mine, as soon as I can, yeah. So the dragon clearly very important. But my ebook has the. Let me pull it up. I'm pulling it up right now. It's being mine has Ferris. Well, now it's trying to tell you all the words and all the stuff. But mine has Ferris with the dragon behind it. So, and now she has white hair. So the dragon has marked her. As far as we know, there has been no marks on Hendrix for getting the bear and the fox. So things to just like keep in mind. Ferris notices that Ferris noticed Hendrix, and Hendrix is like, "Help me." And she's like, "You're crazy. I'll just come back in the morning and get the amulets like once you die because she can't kill them for the amulets." But she's like, "You're clearly not going to make it." And like Hendrix is super like he's badly, badly, badly injured. And that's when he tells Ferris that he has the key that she needs to open the labyrinth. So it is in her best interest to keep him alive and that they should make a truce. And at first Ferris is like, he might be lying, but then she's like, well, why would you lie about this? What if there really is a key? So she like, you know, tries to go through his pockets and everything and she can't find the key. And he's like, do you really think I would like keep it on me? Like, no, you need to make sure I make it back to the castle. So Ferris has no choice but to help Hendrix get back to the castle. End of chapter. Thoughts?
I said it that this dragon was important back when
You
they
did.
were having all this they were telling us every little detail about the dragon. I said, that means something. Cut to, I never ever put together the dragon on my cover, the dragon on that cover, the dragon on this.
Oh, yes. Uh,
Oh, they just this and that. And I was like, oh, the spirits must be reunited. Like maybe one of them is supposed to reunite with the dragon. I hold true to that theory. I think that something going on with Ferris and the dragon as the protectors is important. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I'm still holding true to that. And the fact that it's on the cover, I'm going to stick with the theory.
I love
Um,
it. My new theory. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, 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 no. You're good. You're good. Go ahead.
My new theory, and again, I don't know this yet, but the nest called out to me because at first I thought, "Oh, is there a baby dragon? Because why do you need a nest?" Like, do I in my head, like, dragons are not sleeping in a nest. I don't know, like, I'm trying to think of other fae books, fantasy books, and they weren't, like, sleeping in a nest. So I'm like, "Okay, but, like, why like, what's with this nest?" So now I'm starting to think if the dragon is supposed to be, like, the most powerful one of all, and earlier, a few chapters back, Ferris was like, "It sounds like a mom trying to bring her kids," and, like, the poem is like, "Reunite my spirits," and all of this. What if the dragon is mama? And then that goes kind of to your theory about them being a yin and yang for everything and it being equal amounts, because if we take the dragon out of that equation, it makes it an even number, right?
It does, yeah.
Like like all the other animals should be in that nest.
And
Like
it
the
does say
dragon
that
is mama.
the dragon is the protector keeping everything in line, and of
Mhm.
course, that was part of the description that it gave us. So,
Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
Don't know if that's true. Like I said, I haven't reached there.
We like the
Uh, haven't reached it. Okay, chapter 18, Hendrix. So they are now on their way back to the castle and it's getting like dark. And Hendrix says there are two people in the woods and he knows exactly who they are. One is Ferris and one is someone that like Ferris cannot see or that no one can see. It is Death herself. And Hendrik mentions death a lot in the book, and death is a capital D. I'm just like, this goes back to my thought of he's a hollow, because he says he keeps seeing death and like she's near. And anytime he mentions death, and I didn't catch this at first, but like I went back, anytime like death is mentioned, when he mentions it, it's a capital D. It's not like a lowercase d. So like death as in like it's a person. Hendrix also realizes that he is very weak and he can't stop the bleeding. His like eyesight is blurry. Like he knows he needs to, like Ferris is like half dragging him and he's trying to drag himself, but like Ferris is cannot carry him all the way. Night is coming down. He knows he needs her to move faster. He just thinks how the weak have risen amongst the ranks of the grand warriors. She held the greatest gift here, even those with multiple spirits to their name would struggle to counter her now because she has like the dragon. And so he's like talking about like Ferris and how strong she is. And remember, the poem said only the weak would win, not the strong. So I think again, we have to take some of those poem lines out. And she captured the dragon differently. She has the most powerful of them all there. And Hendrik knows the only way to get Ferris to move faster because he knows he can't go by himself is to essentially belittle her and piss her off. And so that's exactly what he does. He just like they start bickering, he like comes at her. He knows that like she has a dragon now, and so because she has a dragon, he will do anything to defend her because he can use her no matter what. He is also wondering why the dragon marked her. So again, no other animal has marked their person. Hendrix is also trying to understand why the forest is aiding Ferris because he's like the trees are really moving for her. It like everything is like this truck would have been much harder even though he's barely helping. They're like within reach of the castle, but it is very dark outside. Like the last shred of daylight is like there. And so they're almost there. She's trying to pull him, and then Hendrik notices something in the trees, and it's the serpent. And Hendrik like all of a sudden gets a bolt of energy, kind of like staggers away from Ferris, and he's like, I need to get the serpent. So he's like trying to like come at the serpent. We find out that the serpent is the foundation of the earth that the forest stood upon. So it's the forager of the ground. So it causes the quakes, it shifts like the stone and the mud to cause utter devastation if it wanted to. He also says that the only spirit that could probably combat the dragon would be the serpent. So, yes. So now the forest is slowly coming alive because the sun is literally about to set. It's like they have 2 minutes to like get inside. Ferris is screaming. Like Hendrix is still trying to like
Such
get hold.
chaos.
It is complete chaos. Yeah. Hendrix is trying to like still fight this serpent that he can't see around. Now the sun has completely set. He looks and he finds the vines are dragging Ferris to like this hole in the ground, and he has to choose between saving Ferris or getting the serpent. Mind you, he literally can barely move. So he chooses to save Ferris. So he goes to her, he like cuts off the vines, but like as he does it, that was like the last bit of energy that he had, and he blacks out. Ferris drags his body back to the castle. End of chapter. What are your thoughts?
When he said, "My human," I
Oh
said,
yes!
"Yes."
Now he's getting possesses over her. He says
Oh
it a
my
lot too.
god,
Oh my
before
little human.
yes, before he was annoying me. He was just like he's like, "I'm gonna do whatever I have to do to, like, manipulate her because I need to do like, whatever his motive is." At this point,
Mhm,
I don't know what his motive is,
mhm.
but he is watching the forest turn its back on her and pull her, which that's our perspective at this point,
Well, it's
watching.
nighttime, so we know the forest helps her during the day, but it's nighttime now, so we don't know how much the forest will help her at night.
And maybe it's not even that the forest was, like, trying to do something bad. It's like,
Mhm,
I don't know, maybe the bear's right. She's the lost spirit. Maybe they're trying to bring her back to the right realm. I don't know, whatever. But he was like, "Skirt, this slippery serpent is not more important than my human." And
yes.
maybe it's like selfishly motivated because of the dragon, but I am
Mhm,
a romance girly. And the
mhm,
possessiveness was loud. I've never
mhm.
heard a more powerful mine than this moment. And I was like, oh, we're ready to lock in, folks.
Yes.
He meets her, he's gonna do what he can, and he this proves it because this man is damn near dying. He's damn near out for the count, and the little burst to go after the serpent has been redirected to this alleged human. I think it's so pointed that he keeps like saying, "My little human, pretty human,
Yeah.
my pet human." I think it's pointed.
Mhm,
I think she's like the spirit or Fae or something, but his something is calling to her. Yes,
mhm.
that's my favorite part. Yeah.
Oh, love it. We are slowly getting into the romance of this. Definitely, because especially in the next few chapters, what happens like in the bathtub and all that. So I do love it. He is getting more possessive. He now is becoming like the morally gray man that we love because now we know he like has feelings for her and like he chose her my human, and so like I'm willing to overlook what he did to her in the nest
Oh, I'm not
because
like, that's still important, but we put it over here.
okay, that's fair. That's fair. In the Fae world, certain things are acceptable, just not in the real world. Okay. Chapter 19. This is the Ferris chapter. So Ferris is like they make it like back to the castle. She literally like shuts the door like right on time. And Hendrix like falls on top of her. And the way he falls on top of her, the Ferris is trying to wake up Hendrix, but she can't. And she like tries to move him, but he like falls and like his head like falls to, like the nook of her like her neck. And he like is like cuddling in closer to her. But this whole time she's like, dude, get off of me because he's bleeding. Like she is like in blood right now. This is a super big guy on top of her. Like she's just like trying to get out. So Hendrix is like bleeding all over. And so she's able to like shimmy her way out. She goes to the kitchen to get some supplies. Ferris takes the supplies by like the fire in the drawing room, and she has no choice at this point than to drag Hendrix to the fire. Mind you, she's already dragged him. She is exhausted. She still has the cuts on her arm that Hendrix gave her. So like this is not an easy task like for her to do, and she is proving that like she can do this. So when they're at the fire, she like cuts Hendrix's shirt and she sees like how bad the wounds are. And like the dragon like got him like twice or whatever. I think he has like six like slashes on him. Two of them are very deep and need to be stitched, but she doesn't have the supplies to do that. And even if she did, she doesn't know how to stitch someone else. So also though, while she's like trying to see like the blood and clean it up. She's also getting very turned on. Like not the bleeding part of his body, but she's like, "Oh, he's like utterly handsome. Oh, he has so
Meanwhile, he's bleeding out.
yeah, literally, but she's like, "Oh, he's handsome for a fae. He's all this for a fae. His body's pretty good." So, she's getting turned on. So the only thing Ferris thinks she can do is like she puts a dagger into the fire, and once it is hot enough, she puts it onto the wound. This wakes Hendrix up, and he pulls his head towards her, and they, like, hold each other, like, their foreheads, and this would be very romantic if they are not currently enemies is my thought, because they're acting very romantic kinda with each other, and, like, right now they still kind of hate each other because they haven't admitted that they liked each other yet, but, we're starting to see the romantic, like, come in. Hendrik is like, "Hurry up and do it again," because he knows that she needs to do it again. So she does the same to the other wound, and Hendrik passes out. Ferris cleans up the blood as best she can. Like there's no like bathtub or anything. There's not much, but she does try to like clean them up a little bit, and she goes to her room. Ferris wakes up out of her bed because she's like dreaming of the singing children and their song, and it's drawing her to the window. And so she like goes to the window and she sees something. But as Ferris tries to open the window, she realizes it's sealed shut. So then she goes to the rest of her windows in her room and they're all sealed shut. So she is pissed off and she heads to the drawing room and she yells, "You sealed my window. Art is that your art's power?" And remember, every Fae, when they come into maturity, gets a power that they call the art of something. So, like, their
Yeah,
castle is good because it was the art of like protection. They also mentioned something with like the water, like the art of water or something there. So
yeah.
we don't know what Hendrix's power is, but he is a Fae of maturity. And Ferris is mad because it's like, we made this true. So, like, how did you do my windows? And Hendrix is like, you kept running off. So, yes, I sealed the windows, but I did that before I truth. Then they start bickering, and bickering gets real, guys. It is like bicker back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Hendrix asks if Ferris has summoned the dragon yet. Can she control it? Ferris lies and said she hasn't even tried yet, but she has tried. She just cannot call it forward. And apparently, the champions study how to like summon the spirits. But remember, Ferris never got like formalized training, so this was just something she never like learned to do. Then there's just some more bickering, and it is decided that Ferris will go get breakfast while Hendrix takes a quick bath to like get rid of the blood that he's in. But Hendrix realizes that it's going to take him a few days to heal because these cuts are deep. End of chapter. Thoughts?
She's got the she has the dragon.
Yeah, she has
Well,
dragon.
she comes to terms with that. She's like, "All right, we're doing something here." And,
Mm,
like, it's a big deal, which we already kinda knew that, but, like, now she's had the time to absorb it since dragging his ass in. And I also love the description of their intimacy without them acknowledging it. We're getting the
mhm,
perspective of her still loathing him. We've already gotten the perspective of his possessiveness of her. And now, as the reader, we get to absorb the intimacy of the moments of the forced
mhm,
proximity in the detailed description of like nuzzling the neck and looking at his perfect body and all of the different pieces of like you're starting to form a little bitty attraction connection to someone without even putting words to it. It is so cool. I love that with romance when you can kind of feel the relationship and the connection and the tension and the yearning, and neither of them is admitting it yet. That's like
mhm,
perfect yearning tension written. She says, lying there, he looked too fragile, too perfect. Fragile. Like this mean, cranky, not nice, one minded, whatever he is. And she had the moment to be like, he's fragile. Because right now she is very powerful. Maybe she doesn't know that, but with the dragon amulet, that's huge. Something else that happened, the silver wind. Why is it silver?
the
The
silver win?
Yeah, whenever she's like, my dreams were filled with a silver wind, which swept
Oh,
through immense tree trunks." Why is it silver? I feel like that's important because isn't her hair silver now?
yeah, well, yeah, she has, like, the power of the dragon, so, yes, that's I actually missed that, so I love that, so I think that is
We're
important. Yes,
we're gonna keep hold of that.
hold of
I
that.
thought that was weird. And then the fact that she lied and said she can't summon the dragon. Everything that they claim to think they know about how they're supposed to command the spirits or summon the spirits
Mhm,
or whatever with the spirits is wrong from the start when they're looking at everything wrong, when they're
yep,
thinking like, "Oh, I need to command the hollows and the trees and be the and rise up and just go over." overcome, and it's like you're not getting it. It's uniting.
Mhm.
You're supposed to work with, and
Yeah.
so I thought that was
That's
crazy.
why I was saying too, like when we got the poem, because the poem was so long, and I was like, okay, the authors are making it long for a reason. So I was like, there are certain words that we have to pay attention to. So I think we're picking up on some of the right words. Now, have we picked up on everything? I don't know. Yeah, I haven't made it to the end yet. But I do think we have picked up on a few things that we should have picked up on. I'm loving this book so far, guys. I This book just came out like in November, so I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to wait like a whole other year for book two, and I'm already devastated. I haven't even made it to the end. I'm already sad. I have
Yeah.
to wait like a year for book two. Okay, chapter 20, and it's a Hendrix chapter. So Hendrix is not doing well. He says this is the worst injury he's ever gotten in the 600 plus years of life that he has been alive. Hendrix makes it to the bathroom and like starts the bath. This is when we learn that because of how the water is running and whatnot, a fae with the art of like water definitely at some point enchanted this. So he struggles to get into the bath, but he gets into the bath, and with nothing to do while he soaks, Hendrik starts to think of his past, and he says, or he thinks of his mother and a time that she told him, "You cannot brave this world alone." And so I think this is when Hendrix realizes that Ferris means something more to him because he will not be able to brave this world alone. Hendrik opens his eyes to like find Ferris knocking at the door, and she says, "Well, I heard a scream and then it went quiet." Hendrik's acting like all tough. They do some bickering, but then he realizes he left his washcloth like on the sinks, like slash basin, which is not near the bathtub, and he literally is so weak he cannot get out. So he really asks Ferris to help, and she doesn't help at first, but then he's like, you know, he does nicely ask, and so she comes in. Then he was like, "Can I you get the washcloth?" And he like insults her again, and she's like, "Nope," and leaves. So he tries to get up and get the washcloth, but falls and hit his head instead. And so Ferris does end up coming in, and she gets the washcloth and she passes it to him. But the tub water is very dirty with blood and dirt. So like in order for the wounds not to get infected, she needs to like clean his wounds with like the basin water and not with like the tub water. So she does that. And so now we have Ferris cleaning and taking care of like Hendrix in his time of need. And Hendrix likes the way he feels about like Ferris taking care of him. And so they're bickering some more. But guys, when I say bickering, this is really when it's like lovers, like this is when we're really getting into like they're doing this because they don't want to admit to each other that they like each other. Like Ferris just keeps telling that like you need to start talking to me with like more respect. He doesn't necessarily agree, but he's like, okay, we have a truce, so I need to do something. Ferris and Hendrix talk about what it means to make a human human, because Hendrix is pretty much like, you guys are weak, you guys can't do this or whatever, and she's like, no, but like that's what makes us human. And she tells them like, we live life to live life because we know there'll be an end. She's like, you guys take advantage of the fact that you guys live forever. You guys don't value life like the way a human does. And Ferris says, I don't think I don't think life has meaning without death. And the book says, Hendrik's throat tightened, her hammer striking the nail too close to my heart. So once again, I think Hendrik is half hollow because he has some connection with death that we know of. And so they're going kind of back and forth, and immortality is just too safe of a game to play. Have you ever lost anyone, Hendrix? And Ferris is asking, like, have you really lost anyone? Hendrix says no, but then starts to think about his family. So we got the brother scene where he like remembers his brother like in the grass, and we got the scene with his mom saying that like you can't brave this world alone. So I think something, is with his family. They bicker some more, and at this point, Hendrik like stands up out of the tub, exposing himself. Ferris blushes because she sees everything that she likes to see. So this is like their little foreplay going on. And then Hendrik says, "My reasons are purely selfish. What boon do you seek, Ferris Creed? Perhaps our wants align. You spoke of the necromander before. The hollows must bring in a riot of fear into your fellow humans. And so I am even more convinced that Hendrix, like, you cannot unconvince me at this point that Hendrix is not half hollow, the way he speaks about death and everything. And so this is when I start to think, does he want the boom to, like, take away half his hollow? And so then she says in return, like, "What does the necromancer have to do with this?" Then she's like, "Perhaps I wish," and then he says, "Perhaps I wish to stop him." And she's like, "You're a liar. You said your motives are selfish." And then he says, "Maybe I want the hollows gone for my own motives." So again, starting to think he's half hollow. And now I'm starting to think that is one of his family members, like the necromancer, because we do get the name Dane Crownty. We have gotten his brother, not his mom, so if I had to choose right now, I'm gonna choose his brother. And remember, he just remembers the days when he was just like, when it was all carefree and playing in the grass. So I'm just like going back to that. Again, everything has a balance, or that's what we both are starting to agree. So what better way than to have our main characters have to pick between their siblings, right? We know she's there for Rissa, so why wouldn't he be there for his brother? That's what I'm thinking. And Hendrix is still standing naked. They're still bickering. And he pretty much is like, he says, "Do me a favor, darling, and don't look at my cock when I'm on the floor." And he gets so dizzy he passes out. So I'll stop there because it's not the end of the chapter, but it's like the end of like before they go to something else. So like, what are your thoughts? That was like a lot of information that was there.
When she says immortality is too safe a game to play, have you ever lost anyone, Hendrix? My brain went, woo, woo, lost, do you say?
Mhm.
Lost was a very important thing back with the bear.
Oh, yes.
And then he goes on to say, I have selfish, and so I feel you, again, with like potentially as a hollow. And so maybe he wants to banish that part of himself. So he has to get rid of the necromancer, which will
Mhm.
then get rid of the hollows. But to your point, is his kin, his lineage, something to do with the necromancer? But his
Mhm.
punishment, his outcast, because he killed Othrun, is because he doesn't like the Fae.
He doesn't like all the Fae. We I think in the next set of chapters you find out why, or
Okay.
we as readers find out why. He
Yeah.
has a very good reason.
Yeah. Um, I love a take care of him scene.
Oh, me too. Honestly, those are actually one of my favorite scenes, especially when he's like, "I'm big and bad, blah 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 blah," and you need a tiny little human to take care of you. Yes, talk about like the power of balance shifting. Love it when that happens.
Love it. I'm like, yeah, you need me. Plus, it does again, it gives like those intimate moments where
Mhm,
as the reader, we're experiencing it through his POV, which I
mhm,
do not care for. I wanna like he's like, "Oh, like, men are men. Let's just call it what it is." Like, "Oh,
yeah,
a cute girl is touching me."
mhm,
That I mean, it is what it is. But we're still getting the intimate, very detailed, like, I feel the imprint of her hand still on me as even after it's gone, or like the graze of her hand under my pec. We're getting very specific, intimate moments through his POV about their intimacy that is still they don't like each other. Like
mhm,
he's feeling like this is an involuntary reaction to her like helping him and they're still not addressing it. The reason I don't like it from his POV is because I feel like it's a little more raw and a little more plot driving when it's coming from her because she's out for something else and we
mhm,
still have no idea at this point what he's working towards.
mhm,
So I'm kind of disconnected from like why are you so broken?
mhm,
What makes you so broken that this moment right now is making you feel this way? So I don't have the same connection I would
mhm.
as if I were coming from her, who she's like, I feel alone, like being able to take care of someone after I lost someone. I feel like it would have been more impactful. That's just me though.
Love that. And this is why I love like having like different point of views or like just you and me because I actually like Hendrix's chapters, but I like them because I don't like to be kept as a reader. I hate being kept in the dark. Um, Like, I don't care what you do to the characters, but don't keep me as the reader in the dark. So I just
Yeah,
love being able to get into his mind because, like, I know some people don't like dual POVs or they rather just have one. And sometimes when I read those books and like the other character is so good, like I was like, I want their POV. I want to know what's going in their brain. Like, I read a good one is like Our Infinite Fates. I don't know if you've read that one, but it's like all
nice.
from like one person's point of view. But like when we got, I think his name was Arlen, like, there came a time where I was like, "I want his point of view. I wanna know what
You need
he's
it.
thinking.
You
I
need it.
don't want like, stop. I don't care. Tell me as the reader. I don't care what you guys do to each other in the book, but, like, as a reader, I wanna know." So, for me, it's selfish, like, I just wanna know as a reader, but yeah. But that's why I like double POVs. Okay, so then we're back. So, Hendrix wakes up, and he's in the bed, and he finds, how romantic, that Ferris has stayed in the room with him, like, she's at the in the armchair, like reading the journals or the books or whatever. And Hendrix is like, "Wait, how did I get into the bed?" And Ferris is like, "Wait, you don't remember?" And he's like, "No." And she's like, "Well, I tried to wake you, you wouldn't get up. Left you there for a little bit, came back, you still wouldn't get up. I got this wheelbarrow, had to struggle to even put you on the wheel, but tried to wake you up again, and you wouldn't, and like had to wheelbarrow you over here to pretty much put you on this bed so that you could like, be in the bed and not naked on the floor." And then she goes to say, "You also started to talk about the hollows in your sleep." And Hendrix freaks out and's like, "What did I say?" And she's like, "Oh, nothing. You just said they are waiting." So this is why I'm my theory still goes with I think he's half hollow. This is why he needs the boon. Hendrik, he is like shocked that his tiny little human was able to do all this for him. There's a little bit of like bickering back and forth, but it's fine. Hendrix is finally able to like get out of bed and he's getting out to help teach Ferris how to summon the dragon. And Hendrix is slowly realizing, like he's realized it before, but he's realizing more and more, especially after she has taken care of him, that like he loves the presence of this human. And he like literally still calls her like his human. Hendrix like talks about then we get his dad. Hendrix talks about his dad taught him how to summon and how his dad was such a great dad. And so he's trying to teach Ferris how to like summon this dragon. They get into it again because she like literally can't summon it. While they're summoning while he's trying to train her, this involves them somehow being close together and they're like touching each other, but they're like not stopping. And Hendrix is like, "Oh, there's no reason for her to be touching me, but like I love that she's like touching me." But long story short, Ferris fails to summon the dragon. End of chapter. So we're getting our lovely close proximity stuff.
I really loved when he, summoned the fox's power and she was able to feel it.
Mhm.
Like, what did that feel like to her? Because to my knowledge, the fox is the opposite of the bear, right?
Yeah, 'cause water and fire.
And so, did she feel the heat of the like, what did the power feel like?
Yeah.
Super irrelevant, but I'm just curious
No, I
the
love that because sometimes I'm like, what
depth
would it be like to be
structure
in
of
this
the
Fey world?
power. Yeah, because then we get her describing, like, the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So chapter 21, it's a Ferris chapter, is the last chapter we'll cover for today. So it's been 6 days and she still cannot summon the dragon. In fact, it goes on to say that the dragon is denying her summons. And so Hendrix now is pretty much like at full strength again. It's taken him about 6 days. So we don't have the exact timeline, but it was like 6 days before. Now it's 6 days again. So we can assume it's been anywhere between like 12 to 15 days that they have been so far in the forest. Like so, they only have 40 days. Hendrik shows up again. She's in the conservatory. So Hendrik like shows up, more bickering takes place, and then he's essentially like belittling her, like how she's summoning wrong. Again, she tries to summon the dragon and she can feel like its energy and it like does blast energy at her and it throws her back and Hendrix catches her. They bicker some more, but this whole time he still like is holding her and their lips are very close and she's like so they clearly wanna, like, kiss each other, but they don't, and she's like, "Put me down," and he's like, "When I put you down, you're gonna fall." And this time, though, Hendrix is literally thinking she needs to get control of this dragon, like, we cannot do anything until she gets control of this dragon. So he tells her again. Ferris tries a few more times, and then again, and finally, like, energy blasts from the amulet, and the dragon does come free. However, this dragon is not happy about that. The dragon comes out and, like, destroys the conservatory, so, like, the glass is, like, falling from the sky. Hendrix has to use his body to, like, shield Ferris. The dragon, like, goes through the wall of the castle, and it's, like, just destroying things. Ferris is, like, freaking out because she sees blood, and it's Hendrix's blood, and she's like, "Oh my god, you're bleeding still." The dragon is still going through things, and it says, "No creature shall command me by force." So I think that is a very key word, by force. The dragon still continues to destroy the castle. Hendrix understands that they need to leave, and they need to leave now, or they both slash really Ferris will probably die under this like rubble. So he tries to like pull Ferris outside, but she like runs inside to get her books and a backpack. And again, the dragon continues to destroy the castle, and it then says, "Never presume to control me again, Ferris, or your fate will follow that of this wretched building." And it like goes back into her amulet, and Ferris doesn't know what to do, and so she passes out. End of chapter. My one and only question that I have for this before you go, I don't know, in my head, when I think of a dragon, I think of a very big creature, like super big, right? Like it makes sense that you would call the bear inside, and it makes sense that you would call the fox inside. Why the fuck are you calling the dragon inside of a house? Like that sounded like trouble before it even did any of that. This is your only thing that is giving you constant food, and we're gonna just call the dragon inside the house. You guys should have been going outside during the daytime to call like what again trying to think of dragon books. They're all big. They ain't
I
no
just
small dragon.
like they went into a cave into the nest, and then they
Right.
know what the dragon is like pre let's summon it. And so there was no thought process here.
There was none. There was none. I was like, well, of course it destroyed it because the dragon probably didn't fit in it to begin with. That was my defense. You can go ahead. What were your thoughts on the chapter?
So I actually forgot something. At the end of chapter 20, he says, "A river of energy was coming between us, bridging the gap from my soul to hers." I'm firmly in the camp. There's some sort of fated situation going on. I
I
won't say
definitely think
who
that too. I
they.
don't know it yet, but I definitely think it too.
Yeah. And then he says, I could feel her, sorry, allowing her to feel the very heartbeats in my chest. Heartbeats? Excuse me? Did he say
Ooh,
heartbeats? Hmm. Heartbeats in my chest. I could feel, well, I guess maybe his and hers. He's feeling both of theirs. That just made
I
sense.
love where we're going with this.
I put that together in my head real quick.
Yeah.
I could feel hers in kind, thrumming so powerfully it wasn't like any heart I had heard before. Certainly no humans should beat like that, as if it was dictating life instead of the other way around. Hmm. Is she spirit? Is she one with the dragon? Because she's also a protector. So I forgot to say that in the last chapter. This chapter. Listen.
Mhm.
What you said about the dragon. Okay.
Why are we summoning? I don't know. I feel like I could like hear my mom be like, "Why the fuck were you trying to open a dragon? It's how you know it doesn't fit in this house." Like it's not
Yeah.
the bear, it's not the fox, it's not like a smaller animal.
So, but to summon the dragon, right? They're saying
Mhm.
summon. And he
Mhm.
even said my dad taught me summoning. But the reason the dragon came out is because she thought, please. And as the dragon's coming out, she remembers that I have to order it with the strength of will. So initially, the dragon came out because she was like, "Can you please?" Because initially she was like, "Oh, I need to ask." And he's like, "No,
Mhm.
you command." And so she's like, "Just please help me." And then she's like, "Oh, shoot, I have to command it." And I think that's why the dragon was like, "Hang on a second. I don't know who you think you are and what you think this is, but it ain't that. I'm going to run this. We're going to try
Yes,
again once you get yourself together because last
yes,
I checked, I'm in charge. I'm
yes.
just allowing this. You
Mhm.
he even said to her, "Don't fail me." She already fucking up. She was supposed to ask nicely, like she knows she was, just like when she lured the fox, she was
Mhm.
supposed to get the fox. It's supposed to be a nice, like, capturing.
Mhm.
They're not you're not supposed to the spirits, you're just
Yeah.
supposed to collect, unite, ask permission, they're a part of nature, it's all a balance, and, like, Hendrix is making her do it wrong, and it's pissing me off.
I have to agree. I don't think Hendrik knows any better, but maybe that's why everyone's been failing. So again, I haven't reached the part of the book where like if it matters if like capturing them by force or by will is it, but I do think there's a very different reason. There's very different how like Ferris catches
Yeah,
spirits compared to everybody else.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm sure everybody else is doing the same thing that Hendrix is doing. So I do think that will stand out at this point. So I think we're doing great here so far. I think when you make it to the next 7, you may not be able to put the book down because we get I mean, I don't know if you're really gonna read as we're reading, but, like, you find out you find out, like, why Hendrix is really there, what his motives are.
Okay.
Yeah, we find out a lot of stuff. I was like, what? It is interesting. So, people keep reading on. We're almost there. I think next episode might be a little bit longer because again, we get a lot of information. I'm pretty sure the next 7, and if it's not, then it's, like, 9 chapters from now that we get all this information. So, we're gonna have so much to talk about because a lot of our theories are gonna be proven right or wrong. So, I love it. I also just thought again, looking at the map, a little concerning because we know that there are other people, or we assume because there were champions that just went missing with Ferris. In the beginning, Hendrix had mentioned he thinks his aunt could be in here, or some other people, some other Fae are in here. We know that there were those two Fae that like when the Hollows were in when Colton died, we never got their deaths. So we know there are other champions in the forest, and they have pretty much been, if we look where the castle is, they've pretty much only been in that area. So they've captured the fox, the dragon, the bear. They
And I keep
haven't even
seeing the
touched
same
the
death.
other side. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be very interesting. Like, who has what? Are they going to get things? Like, again, we don't have an actual date yet, but we can assume it's at least been like 12 to 15 days because it was like 6 days or whatever with Hendrix right here. They had like 6 days when like Colton was still alive or whatever. So we know it's been a good 12 to 15 days. And so it's like, you only got 40 days and you have to figure out this whole forest situation. So very interested to see how that goes. But now that I know like this map is going to be as accurate as possible, I just like look at it all the time. But now it's time for our sassy topic. It says books, specifically these few chapters, they go into like human versus fae, what is considered human nature versus fae nature. So, what does the book suggest about the two? Do you agree with what they're saying about the two? And how can we parallel this to real life?
She talks about how, immortality is a safe game to play and that they don't as humans, they live, but the immortal, they're just going through as if there's nothing to live for,
Mhm.
hollow, if you will, and I think from a parallel perspective from every single day, we take a lot of life for granted. We just go
Mhm.
through the motions, we pick out dinner, we drive to places, and, we watch trash TV. We forget to live every day. We forget that there is a time limit. And
Mhm.
so, not to be like a little lame, but like don't get lost in your life journey. You're supposed to pick up the pieces and figure out what you're passionate about and go after it, find your reason, find your why. Um, I think that immortality is a game. That was such a hard hitting
Mhm.
phrase. Like, you think like, "Oh, if I had unlimited time," but then you just outlive the people you love, and then you stop
Mhm.
feeling, and then nothing matters, and you're not going after anything for any reason. And so, like you said, you feel like he's hollow, maybe he's trying to get rid of that because he's done with his life.
Mhm. Oh, love it. So I think the book does a great job at comparing, I think, human or what it is to be human to what it is to be fae. Like he's always saying you're weak. And it's not necessarily that we're weak, we're just can't lift 100 million pounds or whatever, but we might be stronger in other ways, right? Like emotionally, because we've been through stuff. Not saying they don't go through stuff. We read enough books where we know that they go through a lot of bad things. But I think it just does a great job, like you say, of like taking stuff for granted. It's probably, especially in this book, it is easier for the Fae to take stuff for granted and not the humans, especially because we know that the humans are the ones doing the offering, whether willingly or unwillingly. Like the humans are losing more. So, yes, they are living life. And I agree with you. This is a great way to be like, all of us don't live forever. So, like, just go do whatever you want to do. Like, something else, though, I think that they're doing a good job is showing that two different people can come together and work together and it doesn't matter, right? And I can use that with like race, ethnicity, gender, whatever it is. At the end of the day, the one that was perceived as weak is the one that actually helped the one that was perceived as strong. And I think if we were going to take that into our everyday life, I think we're living it every single day. I think we have a lot of division in our current society, whether it might be religion, race, gender, whatever we believe in, politics. I think we're so far from each other. And it's like at the end of the day, we're people. I bleed, you bleed. Like, let's just help each other and let's just, live life because we only got one life to live. So yeah, that's what I took from that. But yeah. No, yours was also very heart well, I was like, oh, that is so nice. Well, that's all I have. Do you have anything else you want to say? Any other theories before we jump off?
I think that we're gonna find out pretty quick that,
Yep.
Fierce is something she's something. She's not
So,
just human.
I did call that her eyes, they kept
The
saying her
violet
eyes, and I
eyes.
did call early on. I think she might be half spirit or something. So, I think you get the answer to that too, actually. You know what? In the next few chapters, I think we get Ferris's stuff. I don't know if we get Hendrix. I think we get Hendrix in the next one after that. But trust
Okay,
me, you're not. I literally couldn't put the book down. I was like, oh my God, like after this, I think I have 10 more chapters. I will be finishing the book tonight because I need to know. If anyone wants to know where I am, I'm at the labyrinth. Okay, guys. So like I need to know
shoot.
what happens. Like I am there. So like I know all types of shit is gonna go down this labyrinth and I need to know what is gonna happen. So yes,
Starts
that is where I
popping.
am. Yeah. Yeah. Alrighty, well, that's all we have for today. So bye.